My name is Ashley Blacow, and I'm the Pacific Policy and Communications Coordinator with Oceana here in our Monterey office. Oceana is the world's largest nonprofit focused solely on ocean conservation. We have projects going on all around the world, not only in North America, but in South and Central America, as well as Europe, with about 500,000 members and online activists that help us with our support and advocacy work. So today I'm excited to share with you some photographs and video of a recent scientific expedition that we recently completed here in Monterey Bay, as well as out of Coos Bay in Southern Oregon and Puget Sound. And the goal of our scientific expedition was to identify and characterize seafloor habitat to help us share that information with ocean resource managers for current and future ocean resource protection efforts, as well as sharing that with you, the general public, to help explain why seafloor habitats are so important to supporting healthy ocean ecosystems. Monterey Bay is an extraordinary ocean ecosystem for many reasons, but for one in specific is that it's part of the California Current large marine ecosystem. And this large ecosystem extends 3,000 kilometers from the northern end of Vancouver Island all the way down to Baja California Sur. And one of the reasons that this ecosystem is so important is that it's only 1 in 5 in the world that's characterized by upwelling. So what happens is when winds blow along shore, they push warm surface waters offshore, and those warm surface waters are replaced by cold, nutrient-rich waters that cause blooms of phytoplankton, or teeny tiny little animals that then cause blooms of really small animals like krill, which are like little mini shrimp, that then feed larger fish, seabirds, and marine mammals all the way up to our charismatic, beautiful blue whale. So that's one of the reasons that the California Current is so special, and of course Monterey Bay and the other regions that we conducted this expedition are part of that amazing ecosystem. So I personally had the opportunity to go out on the vessel in Monterey Bay and in Puget Sound and participate in the expedition and help deploy and retrieve the ROV, or remotely operated vehicle. And it was an amazing experience to be out in the bay. A lot of times when you're, say, standing up on the pier at Fisherman's Wharf looking out into the bay, you have no idea what's really down below there. And it's amazing that the fact that we, in some places, stayed so close to shore and saw these beautiful hydrocorals and octopuses and sponges in just these really vibrant colors. For example, the hydrocorals that you're able to see, some of them are vibrant pink, vibrant purple, and when clustered together, they look like just a beautiful fireworks display. So we identified several sites that we wanted to visit and explore here in Monterey Bay using these 2 different remotely operated vehicles. Some of them are areas that have current protections in place through the Marine Life Protection Act that was passed a few years ago, and other areas that we wanted to visit were areas that are currently closed to a certain type of fishing practice called bottom trawling. And some of those areas that are currently closed, there are efforts right now to try to reopen them. So it was very important for us to go down and actually capture with these high definition video cameras what's actually going on that seafloor habitat and what it looks like, to try to conserve these areas and keep these areas closed. So what bottom trawling is ships drag these very large, weighted, heavy nets along the seafloor to catch specific type of fish species that they can then sell. But the unfortunate part about using these large nets is that they also catch other unintended species, as well as just ripping up, or sort of what's the equivalent of clear cutting a forest. They rip up everything in their path that's on the seafloor, including harder structures like corals and sponges. And in some cases, like corals, it takes thousands of years for them to grow. So what can totally destroy the seafloor in a couple seconds can take hundreds or thousands of years to be replaced, if it ever does. Seafloor habitats are critical to maintaining ocean ecosystem health. The reason being is that a lot of animals live within those hard and soft structures on the seafloor. And although a lot of times when you look out at the ocean, you might not know that they're there, they do support larger recreational and commercially important fish species, as well as our beautiful megafauna like our humpback whales and blue whales and seabirds that of course also are one of the reasons that many people around the world come to our beautiful Monterey Bay and go out whale watching to see these beautiful whales that we otherwise can only watch on television. And it's amazing to go out and look at them with our own two eyes and see that in person. But another thing that's important is that these recreational and commercially important fish species, as well as the funds that tourism brings in, equates to about $12 billion annually to our California gross domestic product. Unfortunately, our oceans are facing a great deal of threats these days, and they have been for decades. There's several of the threats that our oceans are facing include overfishing, habitat destruction, and pollution, as well as climate change. And so Oceana is working at several levels with state and federal resource managers to try to protect and restore and conserve our ocean ecosystem. Humans rely on healthy oceans not only for food, but also for recreation and enjoyment, as well as ship and boat building and ocean transport. And a lot of those industries combined equate to about $48 billion in revenue to our state every year. So it's critical for many reasons that we have healthy ocean ecosystems. One thing you can do to help us protect our shared ocean ecosystem is to reduce the amount of pollution that we put into the ocean. So recycling and reducing the amount of plastics that we use by using recycled materials will definitely help